Hello and welcome to this episode of Fighting with COVID. I've got two guests from two different parts of the world, and this is a show with a slight difference. I will obviously sum it up in Bangla so that a lot of my viewers who are following this series in Bangla can also get it. But I've got two people, one from the United States at this point in time, and one, in Singapore, but to and fro multiple times with India. I2Cure, a lot of us have read with tremendous interest over the last couple of months, multiple news items published in April that is this a solution against COVID? Can this be a game changer? Is it possibly a game changer? It's a solution to people's misery. Why isn't the thing becoming widespread? What are the issues? Why can't we readily think that the government is telling us that, yes, this is the solution, despite the fact that CCMB and other government agencies have also so far ratified it. So very many important questions to my two guests, Jack Kessler and Anil Kejriwal. Jack from the United States, a champion of molecular iodine and been in the business as a technologist for 30 plus years, worked as a chemist. Anil brought IT parks to India, innovator, venture capitalist, has done serious work in the technology circuit with computers and systems. So very important, and obviously the prime mover behind I2Cure. So Jack, why don't I start with you? Give me a bit of a background and also about your research and journey on molecular iodine, how it can be a game changer for the health industry, especially in the context of COVID at this point in time, how it can benefit the world. Jack Kessler.
Well, thank you, Boria. My research and or work with molecular iodine began when I was still in graduate school, just graduating. I had a friend who asked me to invent a toothpaste. This person was a dentist, and he wanted a toothpaste that would kill bacteria. And I did that. And led to a patent, which led to other applications, and ultimately some government grants, and then to the formation of a company, which developed a couple of products, one of which is still on the marketplace, and one which was sold by Alfa Laval around the world. And so my introduction to molecular iodine was accidental. I used an enzyme to do that. However, I tried to get away from molecular iodine. I was unable to do it. And eventually it led to some people contacted me to do some work for them, additional formulation work, which ultimately led to the technology which underlies I2Cure. So what's done here is we're using an old molecule with established biocidal properties. So thousands and thousands of manuscripts are published demonstrating that molecular iodine can kill basically all pathogens we tested against, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and even dehydrated spores, provided that the I2 remains in contact with the spores for a long period of time. The issue there being the coat of the spores is difficult to penetrate. And by delivering the pure molecule, you eliminate the toxicity associated with prior iodine formulation. So the first widely used iodine formulation was 1830 Lugol solution. It was used for like 130 years on who knows how many millions and millions, if not billions of people. 1950, we have povidone iodine. It's been used since then. Again, on billions of people, easily on billions of people. Both of these materials are still on the WHO list of essential medicines, the widely used. So the toxicity profile, there's a large history of toxicity, of safety. What we've done is take the active biocide and isolate it and deliver it. And when you do that, what happens is the toxicity is more or less eliminated. So we have a very low profile, very safe, but we still have the biocidal activity associated with iodine. Now we can take that iodine and place it at very high concentrations onto human tissue without having a negative toxicological reaction. And iodine is very effective against COVID. It activates it very rapidly. So during the pandemic here in the States, every day, twice a day, I took the BioShield, put it onto a Q-tip, and I put it into the swab, the inside of my nasal passages every day. I have a partner, a chemist who I work with, who put together a formulation, and every day in the morning and in the evening, he would do a nasal lavage. They have these little devices here for home use, which allows you to run a fluid through your sinus cavities. And so by this expedient, they're really, if by chance a COVID virus did land in our nasal passages, it would be killed very rapidly.
Okay, so to ask a follow-up before I go to Anil. So why is it that, and I was sort of asking people in the US, why is it that it's not used widely in the US yet?
You know, so we have, the reason I mentioned the history, this long history, over 150 years of history, is that now we have physicians who have an impression of iodine and regulatory agencies who have an impression of iodine. And they associate iodine, the active, with the properties of Lugol solution or povidone iodine, because they've never seen data on pure molecular iodine. And so it, you know better than I that medicine moves slowly, cautious. And so it's going to take a little while to adopt for the perception of the medical community and regulatory community to adopt to this new approach.
Are you pushing the regulatory community to adapt it?
Well, I have to say that you introduced Anil very well. I would say one of his characteristics is he's a pusher.
Okay.
So he's a doer. He's pushing and he's moving. But people, as we get older, we change our opinions and our minds a lot more slowly than when we were young.
Okay. So Anil, let me come to you on that note. You know, I2Cure has CSIR, CCMB approvals, is based, you know, from what I know, and I've read it up. What is available in the social media. I was reading up even government sort of advisories, in the sense government people associated at very senior positions talking about it. Efficacy of 99+% against SARS-CoV-2. But, you know, application of so two parts. How is the application of the product done and how does it work? And number two, give me a sense of where are we in terms of regulatory approvals across the world and also in India?
As Jack mentioned, the government regulatory bodies and others are very slow in adopting it. We had a lot of trouble even convincing the government here. Even getting testing done for COVID, we said that we are not allowed to test for COVID anywhere. But then we got a lot of support from the principal scientific advisor. He was convinced. He sent us to CCMB. They agreed to test it. Officially, COVID testing was not legal till they tested for us. So there would be only our product tested against COVID in formulations. Everybody else is following what WHO has written. Just use that formulation. There's no test result of any other anti-COVID product in the market. We are the only ones. We have been tested. We showed them reports of Intitech USA, which are again, then they took several months to certify the product. And once we have got that, army is buying, police is buying, everybody is getting very excited with the product, and it really works. It actually works. People are waiting for vaccine, but protecting before vaccine, we are the only solution we have, because every other product on WHO, they're recommending ethanol, benzyl chloride, chlorhexidine. These are all carcinogenic products which are being banned and listed under cancerous products.
So if I can ask you, you said the principal scientific advisor. So if Professor Vijay Raghavan has been convinced, you are saying the army is using it, the police is using it, law enforcement agencies are using it. So, and you are also saying that the product works because CCMB, one of our most prestigious institutes. We've so far, all of us sort of follow Rakesh Mishra, who was associated with it in the past. So what is the problem? Where is the bottleneck now? Where are you at this point in time? What are the hindrances? How has the journey been, and what is the way forward?
I think the biggest problem is the bureaucracy. We've been trying to chase ICMR and all those government departments. And first they said, get the test done. After test, we are very busy with vaccine, and we are very busy. Getting an appointment is like impossible. It takes 3 months to meet anybody in the government. We were lucky to meet Dr. Vijay Raghavan, and he was very nice about it. He because he's from the field, he could immediately catch on to it and supported us. But till today, I have not been able to meet the health minister, anybody from the health ministry. They just don't give you an appointment. So how do we take it to public?
Boria, if I could interject just a second. This problem that Anil is trying to overcome is not unique to India. This is also the case in the United States. There's another product which I've formulated for mouth rinse. The American Dental Association says use dilute povidone, use hydrogen peroxide. We tested the mouth rinse, the iodine mouth rinse I formulated against those compositions. They don't work. Ours completely inactivated with COVID, and it's been tested multiple times. This is a very human problem of people who are entrenched in a position. We could use the word bureaucrats, but it's not just bureaucrats. It's scientists who have come to think in a certain way for a long period of time. And while they may have learned very rapidly when they were children, for some reason it's difficult for them to change their minds when they see new information, which is very unfortunate.
So what both of you are telling me is that we actually have a fight, an instrument or a solution to fight this disease till the time the whole country is vaccinated, and we are actually not using it because of bottlenecks. Am I right in saying that, Anil?
I think that's a fair statement. And the reason I think it's a fair statement, and I apologize, Anil, from my perspective, is that the safety of this material is so benign that there's very little risk in utilizing it. There's very little downside risk in utilizing it. And yet there's a large potential. So I apologize, Anil, I cut you off there, I know.
Okay, no, Jack, Anil, add to this. As far as this product is concerned, is it available in the market in any form? Where are we in terms of making it available? Is it sold? Have you got permissions to sell it? Give me a sense of where are we at this point in time?
No. We're selling very well. It is picked up in last 1 month. We are on 29 online sites. Amazon never has stock. Any amount of stock we are giving to them is distributed. But there's been a bit of a problem on online sales because of the restrictions of lockdown. It's already caught on to the online. It's caught on to the defense. Defense is placing massive orders. Army, police is placing orders for frontline runners. Municipal corporations, state governments, everybody started supporting it. But we still don't have a support from central government. That's a very strange one. They should be really advertising this product, which is lifesaver. It also is very strong against fungus. We are suffering from black fungus, white fungus.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. But before that, you are telling me that Army, which is the central government's leading law enforcement agency, and police, which is the one of the foremost frontline agencies, are buying in big quantities, and yet the central government hasn't supported. That is a peculiar paradox, is what you are telling me. I want to put it on record. These are statements by Anil and Jack. I haven't independently vetted it, but my job here, and I've always done this, is to put forward points of view. If there is an opposing point of view, I would welcome that as well. But from what I'm getting from my two guests, the Army is procuring it. It is online. E-commerce is selling it. Police and people are consuming it, using it, but still we do not have, government support behind it. And if it is proven, in fact, before I go back to Anil and ask about how does it protect against black fungus or mucormycosis or any such thing that is now becoming a panic, let me go to Jack. Jack, tell me how it is used, the very basics. How does, if I have a bottle, how does one use it and how efficacious is it?
Well, I don't know if Anil brought up a bottle of BioShield, but basically it's just a lotion, and you drop it on your hands, and you can rub it in to protect your hands. You can put a little drop on your pinky and put some into your nasal cavities and squeeze your nasal cavity, your nostrils, in order to distribute it in your nasal passages. So it's the first thing that you'll see, and Neil has it there, is that people, when you give it to a physician who is used to using iodine, you have to first put it on your hand and rub it so they see there's no staining, because they're so used to an iodine composition being highly staining. That's because the iodine compositions have very little I2 and lots of other materials in them. But this is pure I2, so it doesn't stain. And as a consequence of being pure, you need to use a very small amount of it to protect your hands. And you have a concentration of the active that's 300, 500 times higher than what's in povidone iodine. So this is the first time that physicians will have a tool that allows them to load molecular iodine into the skin. The first time. They really haven't had that tool available to them. Now, it will take them time. It'll take Anil some time to get them to do that, but that's what's coming. And
so, Anil, now to you, does it protect or does it have utility against this new panic that we are seeing, black fungus and multiple different kinds that we are now seeing spread across India?
Jack, that's a question for you.
Okay, Jack, take it.
It will certainly inactivate that fungus. There's no question about that. The question in every when you're doing a formulation of molecular iodine, the question you have is, does the I2 get to the location where the pathogen exists, and do you have a high enough concentration of it? If you meet those two criteria, then that pathogen is going to be inactivated. That's really the question. So it's strictly an issue of delivery to the site, getting an adequate concentration to the site of where the fungus is. And in case if we have a fungus that's that's living on tissue, we may have to have a little bit higher concentration in order to overcome the biomass that's there, because iodine will also react with other biological molecules. But it is certainly capable of inactivating that fungus rapidly.
Okay, Anil, how do you make it available for the masses? What's the economics of scale? What is the cost? Is it affordable? Can the masses use it? Give me a sense.
Absolutely. We have done a full cost analysis, and I found the cost of I2Cure is half of what you use for ethanol or any other sanitizers, because you have to use them regularly throughout the day. This one you use only twice a day and just 2 drops. So on the face of it, it might look expensive, that small bottle, but that small bottle lasts you for 2 months, as against a 1 liter bottle of ethanol. So the cost, it's half the cost of normal sanitizer. It's much cheaper and very useful for common man.
Wonderful. And what is the supply chain? What is in terms, because India, if it is indeed approved, we are seeing what is happening with vaccines. Now people want it, but we don't get it. So what is the supply chain looking like? What is your production capacity? How is it going to be amplified?
You see, all the concentrate is manufactured by Jack in the US, and he flies them in, and then we dilute it in glycerine and some other formulations and pack them here. And we can easily create supply chains. We have contract manufacturers throughout India. We tried to produce 100,000 bottles every day, but since we couldn't sell the quantities, we had to drop our production capacities. We can scale up very fast, and Jack's lab can supply materials any amount very easily. And so it's only 1% we use from his lab. It's only 1%.
So what you are telling me is at this point in time, if there is approval or if there is support, scalability is not a factor.
Not at all. Not at all.
Now, Jack, either of you can take it. Who all can use it? Can children use it? Can teens use it? Can adolescents use it? Vaccine is still for 18 and above in India. What is the usability for this product?
I will. Should I take that? Just something very interesting.
Go right ahead.
I will share tomorrow a report by Professor Ashok Kaul of IIT Kanpur, who's an expert on iodine from Japan and Sweden. He's just sent me a report today, which is fantastic. He has given the figures of every age group, what is the level of iodine they can take in. That whole report, I can publish it. It's an official paper he sent me. He's been working on it for a month for me to do analysis of every age group, how much ingressing of iodine is allowed. And we are far superior than any povidone or betadine. Compared to them, how much we ingress in I2Cure is only 1% compared to their ingressing. So we are way above the safe limits, way on the safe limits. So starting from child of 2 years old, he's given analysis from child of 2 years old. Jack, okay, I'll send you that report tonight.
I was also reading that IIT Kanpur is, at least on social media, IIT Kanpur is working closely with you. Can you tell me a little bit about that partnership?
IIT Kanpur, we have their equity holders in I2Cure, and also we are using their labs to develop all the kind of new products which are India-centric. And a whole team of bioengineering, biosciences, Dr. Ashok Kaul has been nominated, and his team of PhD scholars. Unfortunately, they're shut down for last 1 month because of COVID shutdown. Otherwise, we have created a huge team to tell us applications on Indian conditions, like on cattle, on agriculture, all kinds of work. So they are going to take us to the government. They're going to take us to every possible research centers to support us with this. I am a chemical engineer from IIT Kanpur, 1974 batch. I'm an alumni, so I'm supporting IIT Kanpur and they are supporting me.
Got it. Okay. Jack, with this new WHO statement, I mean, not that it is anything new. All of us knew it for a while, having read research that the virus is airborne. Some things have now sort of changed. At least people going mad about scrubbing surfaces and sanitizing surfaces and wiping them madly has stopped. So given these new treatment protocols in terms of the virus being airborne, at least in the second wave, what is the role of molecular iodine?
Well, I think a very logical application for molecular iodine is to paint the inside of the nasal cavity twice a day with a composition that has, I would say at least 1,000 parts per million of I2. Bioshield has 1,500. That should protect the tissue there because there's a residence time in the tissue. So since that's the place where the virus lands, that's its point of departure. Why not kill it at the point of before it gets started? So that seems to me to be a very logical step. A second step that people can take in the evening once a day is to do a nasal lavage, and that would cover the areas beyond the nasal cavity, the nasopharynx and other areas. So, I think it's a relatively benign from the point of view of safety. These are benign activities. I don't see any toxicity associated with them, and it may have it may prevent a lot of morbidity and death.
Okay, Anil, my last question to you before I close it: have you approached the medical community? I mean, you've told me that Professor Vijay Raghavan is very supportive. CCMB has vetted it. Have you approached bodies like the IMA? Have you approached hospitals independently? What is the status on that? I mean, how can this be amplified so that if there is real benefit like the both of you claim, and if people like Professor Vijay Raghavan and the others have certified it, our country needs it. And if the army is benefited, the police is benefited, the common man needs to benefit as well. How can that be made possible? Have you reached out to the medical community?
Oh, they're super excited. They've read so much about this over years, but they keep asking me, are you serious? This product is being made in India? They just don't want to believe it. It's like a dream product for them. They're all supporting it. And in fact, all the medical communities are promoting it. They're personally using it a lot. Can you imagine? Entire police force was supported by us with I2Cure. The farmer agitation, the Delhi police versus the farmers, entire Delhi police was supported by us with I2Cure, and the incidences were far lower than normally it is. So medical, you talk to any doctor, he's fully supportive of it, but we're just not getting enough support from the government to, let the mass know about it, let the public know about it. That
Have
is
you
what
reached
we
out to
need.
hospital chains? Have you reached out to independent hospital chains as well?
Yeah, they've all started trials. They've started buying all hospital chains, drugstores, uh, even AIMS. All the AIMS at Dehradun, AIMS at Delhi, they've all placed orders. All the military hospitals are buying from us. Medical community is fully convinced. They have no doubt about it. So we are getting a lot of, whatever business we are doing is because of support of the medical community.
Wow. I'll close it there. I'll close it there. This has been a fascinating show for me as well. I got Anil and Jack because, and it is important to hear from them, is because what they are claiming, and I'm saying it again, they have put it on record. Responsible people claiming that the police, the army, AIMS, medical fraternity using this product. They've said the Delhi police used it for the farmers' agitation during Kumbh, etc. They have put it out in the public domain. E-commerce sites are selling it. So the question is, why should the common man be deprived of it if there is a preventive? If we can save ourselves, then why not? These are important questions. Either denounce it, give us proof, or if you do not want to denounce it, tell us why we can't use it. These are important questions for the government and government agencies. The health ministry, the Ministry of Health Affairs needs to come out, because if medical fraternity, the AIMS, the CCMB, CSIR, if they are approving it, then why not? Again, I'm not an expert. My job is to ask the questions. I have asked the questions. They are claiming, Anil and Jack are claiming, and they are backed by scientific evidence, is what they say. So if there is this proof, so either we need to know from the health ministry that no, what they're saying is wrong, or we need to know that yes, they are right. And if they are right, then why should Indians be deprived of this product? Simple question. The jury is out yet. I will put this out in the public domain as somebody who wants every life to be saved. And it's not a number, it's a face. It's about someone's father, mother, daughter, son. Every life saved is an achievement in itself in contemporary India. And if there is a product that can do that, we need to advocate it. I will also reach out to medical fraternity independently based on what I know. But as I said, the jury is out there. We've put this video out. We will put this interview out from all our platforms, and then we will see where we get. Anil Kejriwal and Jack Kessler, thank you for your time. Thanks for putting across your point of view. We will see how the government agencies react when we put this video out. Thank you very much for joining me.